Man, I am sitting here talking to the one
man.
and only with his singing self, Gene Moore.
What's
Gene,
up?
how you doing, man?
What up?
I'm excited that you've got new music coming out. You have so many accolades that are just following you right now.
I do.
And you got some stuff going on, bruh. I'm
do?
just saying.
What accolades?
I'm just saying. You do. You do. And we talk and laugh back and forth all the time.
Yeah.
And I just, when I heard the news about the passing of your mom.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But it was just a very strange time that you got the news.
Oh, yeah.
About the passing of your mom. Tell us about that.
So we were at the Grammys, we being me and my wife, and I was just enjoying everything taking place that weekend. I was nominated, had my second Grammy nomination. Thanks to PJ Morton. Got to give a shout out to PJ Morton for the Better Benediction.
Better Benediction.
Yeah. But me, Samo, Tim Rogers, we were all at the nominee reception having a good time. We got our medallions. And I was just really excited about everything taking place that entire weekend.
Right.
So I was going into the Grammys thinking, oh, man, this is an exciting time. Second nomination, yada, yada.
Right.
So the phone rings the morning of the Grammys, like around 5 a.m. And the phone kept ringing back to back. And I looked at the caller ID and I saw that it was my mom's rehab where she had been staying. So my mom had been dealing with Parkinson's disease.
Gotcha.
So she had already been declining, and so she had been staying at a rehab because she lost all mobility. And so I thought that they were going to call and just tell me, your mom got sick and we had to send her to the hospital, because that's happened before. I wasn't expecting that news. They said, we're so sorry to tell you this over the phone, but your mom passed. I jumped up and I said, she what? And then when I jumped, my wife jumped up and she was like, what happened? And I said, Mama's gone. So it was that moment of shock. I couldn't cry at first. I didn't know what to do. It was just shock. And then guilt started coming in. I shouldn't have been here. I should have been there. I didn't want Mama to go and I'm out of town, And so finally when the news sunk in, I was just a complete wreck. I don't care how old I am. I'm still a mama's boy.
That's right.
I don't care how old anybody is. You never outgrow wanting to be with your parents.
That's right.
Even though we know the cycle of life is just what it is, but nobody really wants to lose a loved one. You just don't.
Of course not. And it's like these days, a lot of people are experiencing their highs and their lows at the same time. And they feel like, you have to kind of be spiritually ambidextrous just to say, I can be up and down at the same time, but find my peace and find my contentment. And I listened to your song that B. Slade wrote.
Yeah. All
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lyrically.
Self-affirmation.
It's self-affirmation. It's people think they're just songs.
Yeah.
But when you are in a situation like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really didn't even want to go to the ceremony. And my wife was the one that said, babe, I think you should put your suit on. Let's go. You don't have to be on in front of anybody. I'll be right by your side.
Oh.
And I was really walking around that arena like a zombie because I was just mentally checked out. There was even a moment during the ceremony where I got up and walked out and I just broke and my wife was right there with me. At that point, I didn't care whether we won or lost because at that point, I had lost one of the most important people in my life. So a Grammy was just secondary at that point, But I will say that my wife was a major support in addition to a lot of my close friends. And I think that when you're dealing with any form of trauma, it's important to surround yourself with a good village. So I used to hear my dad say this all the time. It's better to be surrounded by 4 quarters than 100 pennies.
Wow.
Now 4 quarters.
That's big.
4 quarters equals $1. 100 pennies equals $1. But which dollar would you rather have? The one with all the change?
Come on.
or the one with just 4 solid quarters?
4 solid quarters.
You want the solid?
Or just
quarters.
$1.
Yeah.
Just give me $1 bill. Forget everybody else. Just give me $1.
Yeah.
No, really.
Yeah.
But it's the truth. That is a very wise statement from your dad, because, you know, sometimes you see the truth.
Yeah.
When you're in those types of high and low situations, you know, people can't capture, you know, what you're really feeling at that moment.
Yeah.
And they may say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, and just not know how to handle you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
And another thing too, Darlene, going back to having a village.
Yeah.
I look at it this way: even Jesus had to have help. You know, you're not strong all the time.
That's the truth.
You know, being weak doesn't mean you don't have faith.
That's true.
It just makes you human.
That's right.
I mean, we think about when Jesus was in that garden
right
before he was arrested.
Right.
And he knew what he was sent to do, but at the 9th hour, he was like, Dad,
right,
if it be your will, let this cup pass.
Please,
I don't really know if I want to do
this.
And then God had to send an angel to strengthen him.
Come on.
So even Jesus had to have a little help.
That's right.
And so, you know.
And then his friends would sleep.
And his friends would sleep.
Y'all couldn't stay awake for a few minutes. Women, see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and one of the friends betrayed him with a kiss.
You see what I'm saying? And now he saw right through him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, dude, you are going to deny me before the cock crows.
Right.
Yeah, all of that.
Right. So, you know, if I can say anything in reference to, you know, that balance of having to deal with heaven and hell, I would always say your village. You know, who you surround yourself with is really who you surround yourself with. And I was trying to say a quote and it just slipped my brain, but it's basically talking about how the power of company is so important. Yeah.
And it is very important. And it's, you know, you got to be surrounded by, is it the great cloud of witnesses? No. No, but real talk, it is very important, and you have to know who you have in your corner that you can lean on.
Yeah,
people that you can be vulnerable with, people that you can have a great time with, and if you find a few friends that you can be both with, no judgment, no anything, no expectation, you could just be. You have really found a piece of heaven for real.
Absolutely.
To have on earth. So.
Absolutely. So, you know, I'm still dealing with grief.
Yeah.
It comes and goes in waves. You know, one day I'm cool. The next day I may see something or I may hear something on the radio or some kind of a trigger, and I start thinking about Mom. Yeah. You know, and the tears start flowing. Yeah. So, you know,
and it's a new normal.
Yeah.
It's a new normal that, you know, a lot of times, you know, in the culture of faith and church and inspiration, they always tell you, you know, this too shall pass and this season will pass. But when it comes to the death of a loved one that close, no, this is not gonna pass. I got to learn how to cope with this. This is almost like that a thorn, you know, in my flesh that I have to learn how to live a different way. So my condolences to you with that. But man, God knew exactly what he was doing when he was doing it. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. And you know, the joy that I have is knowing that Mom is not suffering anymore.
Amen.
Yeah. You know, because my mom in her heyday, she was a very active woman. My mom was a school teacher. She was a principal.
Wow.
You know, she was an administrator for the Houston Independent School District.
Wow.
You know, so to go from that to having all of your independence completely stripped and you're literally just reduced to a bed, that's not the kind of life I knew my mom wanted to live.
Exactly.
So, you know, that's the joy and the satisfaction I have of knowing that Mom's, you know, she's gone from this life, but she's resting.
Yes,
you know,
she is.
And I'll see her again.
That's right. You'll see her again. You will see her again.
Matter of fact, I hope I don't freak you out when I share this, but this is actually my mom right here.
Wow.
Yeah, these are her ashes, and we decided to transfer her ashes into jewelry.
That is so sharp.
Yeah, I have this bracelet, and my sister has a necklace.
Wow.
So we can keep her with us. Yeah.
Yeah, that is. Now, who did that for you?
I ordered this from Amazon.
Oh, really? You can do that on Amazon.
Yeah, they actually have jewelry that you can order for cremation, you know, ashes.
Amazing.
So you don't have to do it the traditional way and put the ashes in an urn.
Right.
You know, so you can kind of keep the person close.
You can
to
just keep them close to your heart.
Yeah.
Now, listen to my children. I got 3. I told y'all I want to be a tree. And I'm saying it in front of everybody. And they're going to hold y'all to that. If the Lord called me home, y'all plant me somewhere.
Hey, but you know what though? When I was younger, I used to think cremation was like so taboo, and now I'm actually really embracing the idea. So, you know, when it is my time to go, I actually want to be cremated.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's cheaper.
That's so heartbreaking.
It's cheaper. It's more convenient, and like I was saying earlier, you can actually keep the person's DNA close to you versus just putting them in the ground. Because either way, you know, there's going to be some decomposing going on. You know.
Well, and it's so cool that you and I can have this conversation. Nobody talks about this, and we should.
Yeah.
We really should.
Yeah.
Well, Gene, thank you for just coming to hang out with me and sharing that. Because that's actually, you know, a reality that so many people have, and they feel like, man, I feel like I'm going crazy. I'm happy, I'm joyful, and I'm sad at the same time. But the beautiful thing is that God takes us from faith to faith, and from glory to glory. And what we have inside of us is needed on both sides. You have to have the positive and the negative to be powerful. You think about a battery, you know, you've got the positive on one side and the negative on one side. And without both, you have no power.